What's going on, guys, and welcome to Stock Picks by Tim. Bear with me because I'm still waking up here. But let's get into Cleanspark's Bitcoin mining update. It just dropped about an hour ago as of this upload here. We're going to look at it. We're also going to compare it to December's update as well. And as always, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Now, if you're new here, consider subscribing, hitting the like, ring the notification bell. It definitely helps me out a lot. If you guys are returning, I definitely appreciate your support when you hit the like. Also, check out the links down below for some stocks and cryptos, and let's look at Cleanspark's Bitcoin mining update. So first off, we're going to look at our new mining update, and then we're going to put January and December side by side. So let's go over this. This company, Cleanspark, if you didn't know, CLSK stock, mines a record 697 Bitcoin for the month, which is up 50% from the prior month, and 129% from the same prior year period. And Cleanspark's Bitcoin holdings grew 32%. That's nice to see that they actually grew their number of Bitcoin instead of just selling everything that they mined that month, which we have lately been seeing. And as said by Zach Bradford, their CEO, we had a banner month, not just because we mined a record number of Bitcoin, we also had our most reliable month ever, achieving 98% uptime across all our sites. And as a side note, last month we had issues with their Georgia facility because there was a winter storm. They were down for a couple days just mining at a very low hash rate. And that's partly why December's mining update wasn't all that amazing. Moving on, this remarkable achievement is the direct result of some of the hardest working and most dedicated teams in the public Bitcoin mining sector. The fact is one of the hallmarks of the Cleanspark way, and it is foundational to our operational strategy as one of the largest proprietary miners in North America. And as a proprietary miner, we exercise tremendous control over our ability to meet targets by building our own infrastructure and installing our equipment according to our own schedule. Additionally, we have greater control over our resources, which translates to higher uptime. This month's mining update is a perfect example of this approach in action, which has allowed us to grow fast and operate reliably. Now, looking at their actual numbers here, Bitcoin mined in January, 697, up 50% from the last month. That's fantastic. Love to see that. And for the calendar year, same number because it's just January still. Now, their total Bitcoin holdings as of January is 301 Bitcoin, up 32% from December. This is good to see that they're holding more. We were all hoping for this, that as we get into the next Bitcoin bull market, maybe it's already started, maybe the bottom's established already. We can always have a little retracement, but I think we're in the early innings of the next bull market, and it's going to be good to see Cleanspark continue to hodl. Now, their total of Bitcoin that they converted for operations and growth was 624, so they did mine more than they sold. Currently deployed fleet of about 66,000 of their Bitcoin miners with a hash rate of 6.6 exahash, which is up 7% from December and up 214% from last January. Now, like I just said, they sold 624 Bitcoin at an average of approximately 19,000 per Bitcoin. Sales of Bitcoin equated to proceeds of about $12 million. This is good. This gives us a glimpse into their next earnings. Of course, their earnings is coming up in a couple days, so stick around if you want that information. I will be covering it. But their next earnings, meaning their January, February, March, we already are off to a good start. And this is with Bitcoin at a $19,000 level. Right now, Bitcoin's at around 24. So if Bitcoin stays where it's at even, it doesn't even have to go higher. Their monthly production is going to blow this 12 million out of the water. It's going to be closer to 14, 15 million, which means roughly, what? Almost a $45 million quarter, back to just about record-breaking quarters again. And keep in mind, this is with Bitcoin at 24,000. What if Bitcoin goes up? Now, their daily Bitcoin mined average, 22.5. What? With a high of 24.2. That is actually amazing in my opinion. And as that exahash grows, they're going to continually mine more Bitcoin per day, obviously giving them a better monthly Bitcoin update every single month. All right, guys, and here's their month over month here, just so you can kind of see a little bit of a comparison. I'll leave it here for you so you can take a screenshot. I'll probably zoom into one and zoom into the other with my amazing editing skills. I joke here. But sorry, I can't zoom in and take off the top tab here. When I zoom, it just goes to one or the other here. You'll see. There's one. Here's January. Feel free to take a screenshot. And then here's December. Feel free to take a screenshot. But this is absolutely what I'm looking for. This is a fantastic mining update. Their efficiency is going great. They got out of that winter storm in December, and things are looking good for Cleanspark. And if we continue in the direction with Bitcoin where we're going, we are going to see record-breaking revenue even sooner than I thought. And speaking of Bitcoin, let's look at the chart real quick. Then we'll take a look at Cleanspark. It is creating new highs. And yesterday, as of this upload after hours, it closed at a new high. Great to see. very bullish. What's Bitcoin doing? Well, today it created a new high as well. Before pulling back a little bit, we hit this 24.2 area. And in my eyes, we have one resistance left until everyone sees this and piles in even more on Bitcoin. Hard to say though, because just how much it has been going up. It is becoming a little bit overbought, definitely. But obviously just trading sideways a little bit, letting those RSIs reset, letting the MACD curl back down, straighten out a little bit before our next curl up, before our next push up. We need to just break this $25,000 area. And then it's off to the races. But this is our last resistance here on these levels that we've been in. It's just been crushing through at an alarming pace almost. I wouldn't be surprised for a little bit of a pullback for Bitcoin, but just based on the halvings, I think everyone is piling in anticipation. People want to get in early. People are speculating if 15K was the bottom. And on the daily, look what we're approaching. We're approaching a golden cross, the cross of the 50 and 200. But keep an eye on Bitcoin. We are in this nice general bullish momentum. I think it is going to continue. We of course may see a short-term pullback, but in my eyes, everyone's seeing this. Any pullback I think is going to be caught with a lot of buying. I think the fear is starting to subside. And of course, as the stock market roars higher, Bitcoin may go higher. Now, of course, the stock market may pull. We do have some earnings coming out. We have Apple's earnings still, I believe, and Amazon. So this could kind of push the market around depending on where that goes. And then moving forwards, we will have CPI coming out soon. And we just want to see the numbers on the CPI reinforce that the Fed should be able to just go with a couple more rate hikes, which is what they said in the meeting, which is partly why this rallied so much. There was a question and the Fed kind of slipped up and was just like, we're just going to raise a couple more and that's it. So it does seem like inflation is going in at the favor that we want. And of course, we are reaching the end of the tunnel. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the Fed rate hikes. But they are convinced that they want to see the 2% inflation, and we are still a ways away. So any sudden news of more rate hikes than we expect, of course, could tank the market, cause a little pullback. But in my eyes, we're getting out of this. We are so deeply undervalued in a lot of things. I'm not just mentioning Bitcoin here. I'm mentioning a lot of stocks as well. Deeply undervalued. And when you think of the peak of the next bull market, you're going to laugh at these prices that we're seeing on a lot of these stocks and crypto. Now, what are we seeing for Cleanspark? Well, it just created a new high. Seems like people are taking very positively to the Bitcoin mining update, and we've been seeing some beautiful momentum ever since this $1.83 level. It has been just consistently moving up. And look at the volume. That's another thing. We're seeing a huge increase in volume, a lot of volume, and we are pushing up as the volume is increasing. That's great to see. I personally think we have a pretty clear resistance. Just like with Bitcoin, I want to see Cleanspark break 385. Of course, $4 could become like a psychological level, but I think 385-ish, 382 to 385. Once we break out of this, this is our last resistance on the way down before we come up to these supports that may become a resistance. But like I said, this is right around 380 area, 380 to 385. If we can flip this 380 area becomes a support, and then we push farther. That's what I want to see with Cleanspark. I want to see how we come up to 380 area, 385 area. If we start, finding resistance there, we may be due for a little retracement. If we do not flip this 385, we might just come up, kind of find resistance and pull. But that's what you're going to be wanting to look out for, is this 380, 385 area. It is definitely a clear support, and once it was broken, it fell considerably. I want to see us break out of it, and maybe we can rise considerably. It may be a resistance first, but that's what you want to look out for. Now, as for a support, we want to use this 200 MA, which is literally following this kind of megaphone broadening pattern, you might call it. So keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this support level, this ascending support. It is also riding along the 200 MA. And as we continue to ride here, we are going to break out of this 380 potentially and continue pushing. Now, a lot of you are asking, theoretically, if you should buy. Bitcoin's been going up. Cleanspark's been going up. People are getting FOMO now. There's definitely a lot more interest lately, I've noticed. And I personally think this is just the beginning. While yes, short term we're becoming overbought, I still think this is just the beginning and still worth DCAing into it. You could wait another week. Potentially we could see a pullback. You definitely don't want to get FOMO. You definitely don't want to just throw all your money into one stock. You don't want to throw all your money at one time. I would personally spread out my buys, make it a little easier, get a better dollar cost average. And you could always play this as a short-term swing if that's your type of thing. You can set a stop loss somewhere that makes sense, maybe somewhere around like $3, psychological number, maybe even like 340, and just see how it rides. If it stops you out, no big deal. You can time a better entry point next time. But let me know, guys, how you're feeling lately. I think this mining update is absolutely fantastic. And the fact that their average Bitcoin mined was 22, which was the previous month's high, I think that speaks volumes on their growth. You know, we just had news that they added another 50 megawatts to their Washington facility, I believe it was. You know, they're going to continue to add to their exahash, and by end of year, they do expect still 16 exahash, which is nearly a triple from here. So you mean to tell me, just based on current difficulty mining, of course the difficulty will rise as more players enter the space, as more people get mining rigs up and going. One thing to look at with Cleanspark is their exahash is expected to nearly triple, and it's interesting to see where their Bitcoin mined will be at that point. Of course, their Bitcoin mined per exahash will likely be lower just because of the higher difficulty levels, like I just said. But in the end, seeing them grow to 16 exahash by end of year will be absolutely fantastic. And I do suspect that we will see record-breaking quarters this year. Maybe a flip to profitability, but I expect at the least a flip to profitability in early 2024. But thanks as always, guys, for watching. Let me know how you feel down below. Thanks for your support as always. Have a good day.